Parallax. So the question is, what is parallax? Well, you've got a complex diagram here, and wait a minute, what does that mean? It essentially means that if you change the position from which you're observing something, that something relative to the background is going to shift, although it didn't move. So as an experiment, that's what I'm going to ask you to do. Just put your finger in front of your face at arm's length. Well, let me see if I can show it to you. Voila. And then close your right eye, and then close your left eye. And see what happens to your finger compared to the wall in the back. Then get it closer to your eyes and do the same thing. What you're going to notice is that when the finger is closer to your eyes, the shift in the position is larger than when the finger is far. So actually, and that's what your brain is doing, by measuring that shift, and actually by measuring the shifts of all objects in two images you obtain with two eyes, you're able to have 3D vision. Your brain automatically does the mathematics. Now, up to a certain angle, because your eyes and your brain has a certain limited measuring capacity when it comes to angles. So the whole idea of parallax is that if the Earth is rotating around the sun, is revolving around the sun, since rotation, we said, is used for spinning like a top, if the Earth is revolving around the sun, then its position changes, and I should see the parallax of the stars. So I should see the stars shifting positions between, let's say, June and January, between February and July. I mean, between 2 months that are 6 months apart, because you'd be at two different positions. And that the ancients understood it. And then the second argument, because we didn't know about gravity. No argument. Why would you create gravity? Why would you think of gravity? Well, you have the air. So if the Earth is moving and the universe is full of air, you should actually feel a very strong wind. That's also smart, because the minute you ride on a horse, you'd have a wind. The minute you walk, sometimes you have a wind. If you are running, you feel that the wind is blowing your way. And you didn't have strong winds. And you didn't have parallax. So someone told Aristarchus, hey, no parallax. Now you're getting to the definite argument. If you measure parallax, that's all. It's killed. The Earth is moving. There is no way to explain it otherwise. So people told Aristarchus, we're not seeing parallax of stars. We tried to measure them. There is no parallax. So, I mean, your idea is nice. I mean, the sun is larger. Yeah, I mean, we should expect the largest object to be the center, and those other small things to be like flies going around. But then parallax. And so if you're Aristarchus, what would you answer? Yeah? Someone comes your way and says, no parallax. Now, not Ptolemy. Ptolemy was 450 years, 500 years later. But someone actually told him, hey, wait, no parallax. That was his answer. So you're going to read it in the slides if you want to. But Aristarchus' answer was, wait a minute. You're not measuring parallax. Well, because the stars are too far to measure any parallax. So he was basically telling people, I mean, parallax will be here if you had instruments that were precise enough. But the sphere that carries the stars is so far away that the actual motion is so small that you're not going to measure any parallax. I'm going to say, wow, got it, heliocentrism. How do you prove that the distance to the stars is very large? Why would you say that the stars are other suns that are very far? Which is something repeated again in the 15th century by Giordano Bruno. No argument for that. No evidence. So again, the key element you need to understand is whenever we say something, the question is, what are the evidences for it? What is the compelling evidence that actually says this is the only way to explain it? Among the different ways to explain it, this explains the largest number of facts. All the facts, while the others are actually failing on one or the other. So That's where we're going to end with Antiquity. So basically, heliocentrism is not a modern view. People already thought about it, but they didn't have an argument that would say, that's it. The main argument at the time was parallax, and parallax was not measured. So the question is, how do we continue the story?